Ageism often shows up in subtle ways, through jokes, dismissive attitudes, or assumptions about what older adults can and cannot do. Many people don't even realize when they are reinforcing stereotypes, which makes ageism harder to identify and challenge. It can happen in workplaces, healthcare, or even within families. I remember once being told, "You probably don't know how to use this technology," even before I touched the device. It wasn't said with malice, but it revealed a hidden bias that age limits learning and adaptability. Experiences like these can sting, especially when they pile up over time. The problem with ageism is that it reduces individuals to a single factor: their years. It disregards the richness of experiences, the lessons learned, and the resilience gained along the way. Society benefits greatly from elders' contributions, but when stereotypes take over, those benefits are overlooked. Recognizing these small but frequent forms of discrimination is the first step toward addressing them. Once we name them, we gain the power to push back and reshape perceptions. We can begin shifting the narrative from too old to timelessly valuable. By speaking openly about ageism, we help both young and old see its impact. It's not just about seniors, it affects everyone, because aging is a universal journey. The more we understand it, the better we can fight it. There is a unique pain in being dismissed simply because of your age. It's not just about being excluded from opportunities, but about feeling invisible in a world that prioritizes youth. That emotional toll can affect confidence, mental health, and even physical well-being. For many older adults, ageism can feel like a slow erosion of identity. Each time someone says, "You wouldn't understand," or "That's not for you," anymore, it chips away at a person's sense of worth. These small moments build up into something heavy. I recall a dear friend who stopped attending social events because she felt she was too old to belong. In truth, it wasn't her age that excluded her, but the perception of others that made her feel unwelcome. That internalized belief is one of the hardest battles to fight, but recognizing that these feelings stem from external bias, not personal failure, is key. Age does not diminish one's value, it enhances it. The years add layers of wisdom and strength that younger generations simply have not had time to acquire. Reframing the conversation allows us to reclaim dignity. Instead of letting society dictate our worth, we must stand tall, knowing our contributions are irreplaceable. In a society that constantly glorifies youth, it's easy for older adults to internalize feelings of inadequacy. Advertisements, movies, and even workplace cultures often highlight energy and appearance over wisdom and character. But self-image does not have to be defined by external standards. Confidence comes from embracing authenticity. Wrinkles are not flaws, they are stories etched into our skin. Gray hair does not signal decline, it reflects endurance and resilience. Choosing to see beauty in aging is a radical act of self-love. One empowering practice is affirmations. By reminding ourselves daily of our worth, we shift focus from what society devalues to what truly matters: our integrity, kindness, and experience. These are qualities that deepen with age, not diminish. It also helps to surround ourselves with people and communities who celebrate aging, whether it's joining senior groups, volunteering, or simply spending time with peers who uplift each other. Connection strengthens identity. By reshaping self-image, we stop living under the shadow of youth culture. We step into the light of our own season, standing proud in the fullness of who we are. One of the most powerful ways to challenge ageism is by defying expectations. When seniors take up new hobbies, learn technology, or engage in physical activities, it sends a strong message. Aging does not mean stopping. I remember watching a 75-year-old neighbor learn how to play the guitar. At first, some chuckled and thought he was too old for that, but within months he was strumming songs beautifully, proving age has no monopoly on passion. His determination silenced doubters. Every act that breaks the mold chips away at stereotypes, whether it's traveling, starting a business, or simply keeping an active lifestyle. Older adults who pursue their dreams are living proof that aging is not a barrier, but a backdrop for growth. Society often underestimates the adaptability of seniors, yet history is full of examples of people achieving greatness later in life. Colonel Sanders launched KFC in his 60s. Laura Ingalls Wilder published her first book at 65. Age is never the end. It's simply another chapter. By living boldly, we don't just rewrite our own stories. We rewrite society's perception of aging. One of the best ways to counteract ageism is through connection between generations. Too often, young and old live in separate worlds, each misunderstanding the other, but when they interact, both sides gain new insights. Sharing stories is one of the simplest yet most profound ways to build bridges. Younger people gain wisdom from the past, while older adults stay connected to fresh ideas and energy. Storytelling becomes a gift exchanged across time. I once joined a community project where teens interviewed seniors about their life experiences. At first, the teens expected dull stories. Instead, they were amazed by tales of survival, love, and change. Many of those young people left with a newfound respect for elders. These interactions break down stereotypes and foster empathy. They remind us that no generation holds all the answers. Wisdom and innovation go hand in hand when shared openly. By nurturing intergenerational relationships, we create a culture where age is not a barrier, but a bridge. Fighting ageism requires both personal resilience and collective action. When seniors advocate for themselves and their peers, they shift the cultural landscape. Speaking up, writing, or joining organizations focused on elder rights are all powerful ways to create change. Laws and policies matter. Ensuring fair workplace practices, better healthcare treatment, and representation in media all require advocacy. Seniors have the power to demand visibility and respect through civic engagement. But advocacy doesn't always have to be large-scale. Even correcting someone gently when they use ageist language makes a difference. Each small act builds toward broader cultural change. I recall attending a community meeting where older adults spoke passionately about local issues. Their voices were firm, wise, and impossible to ignore. That moment reminded me that advocacy is not only effective but empowering. Reclaiming power means standing tall, not just for ourselves but for future generations who will one day face the same biases. Ultimately, navigating ageism is about standing proud, embracing every wrinkle, every lesson, every moment as proof of a life fully lived. Pride in aging transforms what others see as decline into a badge of honor. Aging is not something to fear, but something to celebrate. Every year adds depth, resilience, and understanding. Those who recognize this truth walk with a quiet dignity that no stereotype can erase. Standing proud also means being unapologetically visible. Too often, seniors are told to step aside, fade into the background, or make room for youth. But presence itself is resistance. Choosing to remain active, vocal, and engaged is a statement of worth. The more we live fully, the more we inspire others. Younger generations learn that aging is not something to dread, but a natural, even beautiful part of life. We become living examples of possibility. In the end, navigating ageism is less about fighting the world and more about claiming our rightful place in it, with pride, wisdom, and unwavering confidence. One of the most powerful ways to rise above ageism is by focusing on joy and purpose. When we wake up each morning with something to look forward to, age becomes secondary. Purpose doesn't have to mean career success or large accomplishments. It can be found in small acts of love, creativity, or service. Many seniors discover new passions later in life. Some begin painting, gardening, or writing, while others dedicate themselves to volunteering or mentoring younger generations. These pursuits provide a sense of fulfillment that keeps the spirit alive, reminding us that life's meaning is not tied to how old we are, but how deeply we engage with the world. I remember meeting a woman in her 80s who took up photography after her husband passed away. She said it gave her a new way to see beauty every day. Her photos weren't just pictures. They were expressions of resilience, joy, and the decision to keep living fully. When we align our days with joy, it acts as a shield against society's dismissive attitudes. A person who radiates happiness and purpose is hard to overlook. It challenges the stereotype that aging is synonymous with decline, showing instead that it can be a season of growth. Ultimately, finding joy and purpose is a form of resistance. It says to the world, "I am not defined by your assumptions. I am defined by how I choose to live." That choice, made daily, transforms aging from something to endure into something to celebrate.